Hello, everyone. Welcome to this live session. We have a very special guest coming up, and we have the MSP Bugle's latest edition, which has gone live just recently. And the person who's going to join us is the person gracing the cover of the latest edition of the MSP Bugle, Justin Esker, who will be joining us in a couple of minutes. So I'm just waiting for him to mic up and go live. I hope all of you have seen the link. You can download the latest edition from superops.com/magazine. This is the magazine. This is the magazine. And that's just it. The cover. That's about 84 pages of a lot of MSP insights. There is, of course, a lot of MSP stories. There's Justin's story, which is, it's a roller coaster ride, if I may say so. And I'm sure Justin will speak more about it. Justin, I was just doing the intro to you,
Oh, nice.
And I was showing the audience the cover.
Look at that. Look at that sexy guy. I have such a funny. All right. So I have a really funny story about that photo.
That image?
Yeah.
I wanted to know the story behind that image.
So I was at an event and they had. This all started actually years ago. I went to an event. Peter Shankman is like a entrepreneur here in New York City, and he put on these events. And they had a person doing headshots, and everybody was like taking the same headshot. They would sit like very like this, whatever. And I just kind of just did this one day, and that what became my headshot. And then years later, so that was like 20. I don't want to say 2017, 2018. Years later, I was at another event and it was an MSP related event and they had a person doing headshots and literally every person was wearing a blue shirt and just standing like this. And I was like, I do something different. And so I did this one, but I also did this. And it was really funny because they had posted all of the headshots on their like Facebook group page. And if you scroll, because I did it earlier in the morning, so I'm towards the top, but if you scroll from the bottom up, it's just like person, and then just me like it kind of just plays to the personality of that, like, because I was I'm the only Mac guy there. Everyone else is a PC MSP. Not to discredit y'all, but like put a little fun in your life. And so it kind of just played into the personality of like who I am and that I'm different than everyone else. I also was wearing out. I was also wearing a sweater, like a gray sweater. Everyone else, I'm telling you, blue button down with their logo on their shirt, right? Just like this. I'm like, guys, I don't have a Corona. Like, relax a little. Jeez. Yeah. So that's how that photo. Photo. The problem with that particular photo, though, is I've lost like 30 pounds since that photo. So, like, I need to take a new
before and after. Yes.
Yeah, like I have to remember what that event was and hope that they have a person doing headshots again so I can take like an updated version of it. But yeah. But so that's why that's how that photo comes out. I got to admit, I saw when you guys posted the cover on LinkedIn the other day and you had me like animated and I was like, this is the funniest thing I've seen in a while because it takes a lot to amuse me. This is second funniest thing that's happened to me. First being that I don't curse a lot when I'm on shows like this. I do curse a lot in like my home life. I think cursing is a totally okay language in front of children. And I got bleeped on a podcast once. Like I said something, and they was at the end. It was like after the podcast, they did a bumper. They bleeped me. I had never been bleeped before, and I thought it was the funniest thing I had ever heard. I didn't even care about the rest of the episode. I just kept replaying that part where they bleeped me. I thought it was the funniest thing. So like that, and then the me being animated in front of like on your cover. 10 out of 10, no notes. Love it.
I'm happy. I'm happy that we were able to amuse you. That's going to be up there for us.
Yeah, it takes a lot. Yeah, it takes a lot to get me to laugh like that.
But I wanted to, now that you're here on the screen, I wanted to introduce you formally. This is Justin Esger, He is the founder of Virtual Consulting and of the super popular ACES conference. I'm Radhika Nair, editor of the MSP Bugle, and this is the latest edition of the magazine with Justin gracing it extremely happily. So I think all of you should get a copy. And I'm really glad, Justin, you've given the background story behind that photograph. But I wanted to ask you, what does it feel like to be on the cover of a magazine?
No, I think this is amazing. I want to say this is the first magazine cover I've been on. I got to admit, growing up, I didn't think the MSC Bugle was going to be the first one that I got covered with, but like I'll take it. Growing up in the 80s when magazines were super popular, right? You're like, maybe I could do like Men's Fitness or something like that. But no, MSP Bugle. So I'll take it. No, I think it's awesome. I love it. I also really enjoyed when I was reading it, seeing a couple of my other friends in the magazine as well, right?
Yeah.
I saw the whole thing, like, because Mark Coatman from Wingman is in there, and I got to give him a shout out.
Yes.
And then so he posted, and I was like, hey, looking good. He's like, you too. Like, it was just one of those things where it's just like the community of MSPs is so tight knit, and there's people who you could be friends with and people you're not. That's fine. But like when things happen to your friends like that, it's just amazing, and it's really funny to be able to like play off of that with one another. And
everyone's
see,
so happy to support each other, right? That's
yeah,
something so unique about
100%.
this community.
Like I'm in Mark's book, and I've asked, and he's been he did one of our virtual shows for ACES during the COVID years. And so it was just really funny to see that. And then I saw my friend George Blaine in there from Biz Tech Pro, who I literally was like emailing with like 2 or 3 months ago about something like work related. And it just so happens because he and I are in the same geographic region, whatever. And to see him, and so I sent him an email. I was like, dude, nice. I had an article in the Bugle. He's like, wait, they put that in there? And I was like, yeah. And then I didn't tell him that I was on the cover. And then he's like, you got a bigger spread than I did. I was like, yeah, size doesn't matter, man. We're both in the Bugle. That's all that matters. But it's just really funny to see like friends of mine in the same issue. So like it was really touching, and it was like a really awesome moment.
Yeah, and one of the things that I wanted to tell the viewers, the listeners, the readers of the Bugle is that you have really shared your life story, right? As an MSP, your highs and lows. And
Yeah.
that's something, again, that, I'm really grateful. Whenever I'm speaking to MSPs, one of the things that I always notice is that people are so willing to talk about not just their successes, but also, the moments that, put them down, their failures, the lessons that they learned from that. And that's something that I've always valued a lot when I speak to people like you, right? So I wanted to ask you this: when you look back at your journey so far, right? What is
Yeah.
that one pivotal moment that you would like to highlight?
Probably starting, right? Like that, because I know it's a little cliche to say that. But the truth of the matter is I hate computers. I think they're horrible. My life would be so much better if I didn't have to do this. But the truth is that, there's so many people I know that want to do things, not just MSPs. Like I help a lot of other businesses, and I kind of business coach a little bit on the side. And they talk about how I wish I could do this, or I wish I could do that. Just go do it, man. Like just do it. And so when I first started in 2008, which was already like, it's ridiculous to think that that's 17 years ago. I had gotten fired. It's in the article, right? Like I got fired from my job. I was supposed to go to Macworld. They didn't pay for it. They screwed me over. I spent my entire time texting my mom because I didn't have a girlfriend. I was like pissed, but I was pissed at the whole world. And I've always had that entrepreneurial spirit. So I always wanted to start something. And like the fact that I was able to start something like this, right? And to start as just virtual computers, and to grow it up to virtual consulting, and to be able to say like, I've had a successful app on the App Store and fought with Apple Magazine and Wired Magazine about it. I've written, I've written a business book. I've written a children's book. I wrote an adult coloring book. I've started stupid t-shirt stores. I've dabbled in hardware. I've dabbled in software. I got out of software. I got back into software. I went on speaking circuits. I started a conference. I started acquiring other businesses. I'm now doing like all these different things. none of that would have happened if I didn't like take step one. So it's like really easy to look at somebody's journey and be like, oh my God, how do you do all the things you do? Uh, it's just a crap answer, but like, I just do, right? Because like, I want to do, like, I love to work, which is the weird thing about it, right? Like, what are you happy about? What do you want to do? I want to work. I want to help solve problems. Because I think one of the things, especially in our industry as an MSP, right? We love solving problems. We love puzzles. I mean, I hate doing like actual puzzles. I'm terrible at them. But like figuring out, should this go this way or that way? And
Mm.
being able to resolve that for the person and bring some like levity to their life, because like I reset their Google password, you know, or whatever. That's what really does for me. And just to take that a step further, the reason I've continued to do the ACES conference, acesconf.com, is because at the end of the show, this has happened every year. I'll tell you this, every year, right around this time, I'm usually pissed off and like crying to my wife and being like, I shouldn't do this. Why do I do this every year? And every year she says the same thing to me. This is the time of year that you have this problem. And every year I tell you, don't do another conference. And then what happens? And what happens is at the end of the conference, I get flooded with emotion because I have all these people who come up to me and they were like, it was a great show. Thank you for doing this. It's changed my business. I'm so much more successful. I learned so much stuff from these people. You put this amazing thing together. And it like just keeps like pinging into my heart. And I'm like, this is what I have to do. And my wife always punches me in the face. She's like, stop it. And I'm like, no, I'm going to do it again, which is why we've done 11 of them.
Yeah.
It's not like I have a conference crew. It's me. Like, it's just me. I mean, my wife helps a lot. And I have Fred on my team who comes and does, the tech stuff, or Luke was doing beforehand or whatever. But like, it's just me, man. And so it's me.
I remember you mentioning that you've never on stage, right, at your own conference. You're
Yeah.
always running around behind.
The whole point of the conference was for me to grow my own business and learn how to never listen to a single presentation. 11 years, never a single presentation. Because if let's say you were on stage doing a presentation, I would be in the back getting water, going to the bathroom, checking the air conditioning, seeing if the food's ready, getting the guys in the back who are not listening to your presentation to shut up so other people can listen to your presentation, checking in with my team, checking in with my wife, going to make sure that the sponsors are happy, making sure that sponsor's table is clean, cleaning off this table, getting the food prepped, asking the person who's in charge how to deal with this, yelling at someone else outside, being like, you got 5 minutes before you're on stage. By the time all that's over, you're done. And then I gotta get on stage and be like, that was a great presentation, wasn't it, everyone? I have no idea.
That's the truth of all of us who are organizing events, right?
Yeah, you have no idea. Running back and forth to make sure you have the latest version of someone's presentation on the presentation machine because they heard something in the presentation before their presentation, so they wanted to update their slide deck, is by far the most stressful thing I've ever had to do in my life. It's so annoying.
Yeah. But you are saying how, it's those little moments, right? And that's something that you've mentioned that we've called out in the article as well. It's those little moments when people come and tell you that this changed my life, that this conference, which you started out on almost a whim, if I may say so, that has changed the lives of people. And I'm sure that's something that is one of the highlights of your journey so far.
One of my fondest memories of doing the conference. And yes, I did kind of start on a whim, true. I'll backtrack. When I was going to these other conferences, I would meet these consultants, and this is 2013, 2014. I'd meet these other, and there weren't a lot of Apple consultants at these other conferences, and they were more for like administration, right? Like, and yes, I know I'm a Mac person, so PC people you can hate. I look forward to your tweets and emails. But it was like how to deploy a printer to 400 devices with a terminal command, or like the beginnings of profiles and things like that. And I didn't need any of that. So there weren't a lot of consultants there, and I would start asking them, like, how do you do tickets? How do you handle this? And no one had a good enough answer, which is why I started the conference. One of my fondest memories, I'm going to give a shout out to my friend Brian Best, who is by far the best Brian. It was the end of our 4th year. And up until then, I had only done the conference at a hotel. So we were in New Orleans, Austin, Phoenix, and this year we were in Baltimore. And the reason I did Baltimore was we had been losing money year over year. And I was like, Baltimore is somewhere I can drive to. I don't have to fly. It'll be cheaper. I can bring my staff. And I remember the conference was done and I was sitting on the sidelines and my team was cleaning up and I was crying. And like, I admit that I cry a lot, which is weird for a 45-year-old man, but it's fine. I'm in touch with my emotions, and everyone should be too. Okay, so anyway, I'm sitting on the sideline and I'm crying, and my mother-in-law is there because we were going to go visit my wife's brother lives near Baltimore, and she's like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "I can't keep doing this. I was losing money year over year, but I was seeing how happy everybody was, and I was getting all of that positive emotion." And my friend Brian comes over to me and he goes, what's going on? And I was like, we're losing money hand over fist. I can't keep doing this. And I don't want to be a failure at this conference. And Brian's from Kansas City. And if anyone knows anything about people from Kansas City, they love Kansas City, like hardcore. And if you ever get a chance to talk to Brian Best, everything in his background is Kansas City Chiefs. Like he only cares about. So he said, come to Kansas City, we'll make it work. And so we went into 2019 and it was going into our 5th year. And Brian had spoken at every event. He promised me he would wear a tuxedo. It's actually, I think a photo is in the Bugle, is a picture of me and him in the tuxedo there. Let me see. I'm going to scroll. Yeah. That's him. And that's in Kansas City. And we went to Kansas City and we had it at a wedding venue as opposed to like a hotel. Because wedding venues have nothing to do on a Tuesday and Thursday. So they gladly would take our business and for cheap. And it worked. The conference worked. Like it did 2 things. It made people happy and I made some money, which is really kind of what I care about. But like that moment where Brian was there at the end of the conference and he like gave me a hug and he's like, we'll make it work and we'll do it together. Like that's a defining moment for me, right? Being in this industry, I talk a lot about this a lot, is like everybody believes they're on their own little boat, their own little island. And the fact is like, we're not. The Apple Consultants Network, because that's what I'm a member of, is a better representation of this than I think on the PC side, only because of the way it's built. But like, we're not individually on these islands. Like we have a community. We call someone else on another show coined this term, co-opetition, right?
Mm.
We co-op, we work together. Sometimes I will give business to someone else. Sometimes I'll work with them. At the same time, like they're my direct competitor. And that's Brian. Brian is a friend and a colleague, and he's spoken at every ACES. But like Brian's in Kansas City, and I'm in Columbia, Missouri, with one of my teams are, and that's like a 2.5 hour, 3 hour difference in time. So we could technically be competition to one another and be handling each other's customers. We don't out of friendship, but like those are those moments where like you have a friend who's in your industry who knows where you're coming from, because that's another thing, right? Like I can't talk to my like home friends or like my friends I know around town because none of them are MSPs. They don't understand. They understand the business part of it, but they don't necessarily understand the nuance of like this server crashed again at 3 a.m. and I don't know why and whatever. Like, so having friends in the industry, somebody like Brian and whatever, those moments are what really do it for you. So like in that moment of pain and anguish, to have somebody like that come and be like, we're going to figure this out together. Really, like I did something right to move that thing. And we did. So we did it in 2019 and we made money. And then COVID happened and everybody got screwed. So I joke that I blame
and
Brian.
I can't believe it's been 5 years since 2020.
Yeah, I know years.
Yeah. How time flies. But
our 2020 show, this is true. Our 2020 show, we were going to go to Atlanta and we had to make the call because our show was in May and obviously lockdown was in March. And so we made the call. We're going to go virtual. And so we said to everybody, you know what, guys, we'll just do a virtual show in April and then we'll come back together in October when all of this blows over, because nobody knew.
Yeah.
And then we did 4 more virtual shows. Finally, 2024, we were back in person. And then this year, we're going to be in person just in a couple of weeks in Austin, Texas.
In Austin, Texas.
And you guys will be there.
Yes. And what are the dates?
May 6th, 7th, and 8th for attendees. Yeah. So we have some really cool stuff planned. But yeah, those are the defining moments. And like, you have to, I don't know. Going back to your original question, like, how do you do it? Like, you just do, like you said it. Like, I started the conference on a whim. Like, my app that I created years ago, like, Sign My Pad came about because I was using, this is going to be a gross story. I was using my iPad in the bathroom because that's where you use it. And I was literally playing with like a painting app and I was like drawing my name over and over again with like a little heart over the eye because I'm a child. I was like, if I could sign my name to this, I can sign work tickets, which is what I had at the time and paper and all whatever. And so like that begat this like storyline to create this app, which then started everything else. You know, like
Yeah.
it's just if you have an idea, it's so easy, especially now. This is because I was doing Sign My Pad 14 years ago. It's so easy today to like go
Yeah.
get those ideas made. And I truly believe MSPs, the ones who are not in it for like a lifestyle business, the ones who
Hmm.
are in it to like actually have a business and understand there's more things than just the computer part, that entrepreneurial spirit. Like I know so many of them that are so just like sitting on ideas because they just don't know what to do. Like go on LinkedIn, go to Upwork, find someone who can help build something, find a designer who could like I wanted years ago, I wanted to create a Thunderbolt dock, which never existed at the time. I wanted to do it for, oh, sorry, not a Thunderbolt dock, a Thunderbolt switch, because I wanted to use Thunderbolt technology on a Mac to do networking.
Well,
I'm not an engineer. I am far from Tony Stark. Like I'm not at all. I went on Upwork and I found an engineer who understood, you know, PCB and chipsets and whatever it is. And we followed the path to like make something happen. We got rejected by Intel. That's another story. But like, there's so many different ways to get things done, to get things built. You know, there's nothing stopping anyone except themselves. And
yeah.
I feel like
And
a lot of
now,
us need to push past that.
with AI, there are so many tools out there, right? You
Yeah,
that you
yeah, yeah.
can just, yeah, in a day, in a day or two, you can get like a working model done. We had a hackathon recently, and our engineers created working models in a day or two.
My
That was
son really
brilliant.
wanted to create a superhero, so we used ChatGPT to like design the superhero and make like a comic book cover, and it looks so good. And I'm
Right.
talking to a friend of mine in LA to be like, "Can we make this real?" And he's like, "Kind of." Like it's you never know. Like we have
Yeah.
to try and give it like you have to just go for it.
So my next question was going to be, what's the biggest lesson that you have taken away from your journey? But is this exactly what the
No, the
biggest
biggest
lesson
lesson
would
is
be?
don't start a conference. They're
Too
horrible.
late for that.
I know. I've always said that I was going to write a book on how to start a conference, and it was going to be one page, and it was just going to say,
Don't do
"Don't."
it.
Yeah, like don't. The biggest lesson, yeah, I guess that you could say that would be the biggest lesson, right? Is just try to do stuff. You know, there's actually I just got off the phone with somebody. I was just talking to somebody on Zoom, who's someone who lives in England, and he had a really good perspective on the fact that like he doesn't want to grow his business because he wants to spend time with his kids, and I was like, that's really mentally healthy of you. I don't like my kids, so I'm fine with doing stuff for my work. I'm kidding. Um, but like he's comfortable and he's good where he is, right? And there are people that are in our industry that are comfortable and good where they are, and that's great. If you're happy, that's all that really matters. If you want more, which is I always want more, whether that's more knowledge, more money, more clients, more time, more whatever, more businesses, more fun, more whatever. Like if you want more, go get it. There's nothing stopping anyone, with the exception of getting more customers, which I completely understand is a hard thing to do, and there's a pathway or whatever. But if you want something, like, just go get it. Like, flip this around. If I needed something, I would just go on Amazon and order it. Yeah,
Mm.
like it's easy. Be Amazon. I mean, don't be Amazon, but be Amazon, right? Like, if you want something, like we wanted these docks. I wanted to start making these docking stations. I have one in a box. I gotta open it. Look, it's like a live unboxing, guys.
Nice.
And I wanted these docking stations and we gave these to clients. We gave them out, and it's not gonna show up well because of the bokeh on the camera. But we created these docks, right? These little things, and you can kind of see right there. It says Virtua, and I
Mm.
was like, okay, I was thinking about the docks, and I was like, well, my dock for my computer is in my desk. I have it hidden. How do we keep this on their desk so they always see the logo? So we found a docking station that has a wireless charging port on it. So like,
Oh,
you're not going to
nice.
put this in your desk. You're going to put it on your you're going to put it on your desk. You can
On
charge
the
your
desk.
phone on it, and there's our logo, so you remember where you got it from. Like those things. Like, and so what did I do? I came up with this idea. I went to Alibaba. I looked for who's got docks. I built a whole bunch of them, and I gave them to customers. Like, there's nothing stopping you. The only thing, that's what I'm saying. Like, the only thing that's stopping you is you. And if you have a good idea, this is how I started the t-shirt thing, which, you know, everybody's got a t-shirt company, right? I had an idea. It was called "This is my work from home inspirational poster," and I had my wife like make some like nice art, and I put it up on Teespring or one of those stores, and started selling it. And a friend of mine goes, "You know what? Every time you have a new idea, you have a shirt. Make that into a shirt. I don't care." Like, just actually making shirts is how I met everyone's good friend Paul Green, because Paul years ago had a woman on his show, and the woman was talking about cybersecurity, and she said something really awkward, which was, you wouldn't let a bear steal your server, which I didn't understand, right? So I whipped up a t-shirt of a picture of a bear stealing a server, and I sent the graphic to Paul, being
To
like,
Paul.
hey, like, you don't know who the hell I am, love your show, listen to it every day on my daily walk, here's a t-shirt I made in honor of you. And we became good friends. I've been on his show now like 4 times, right? Like I think I'm in one of his books. Like, we talk all this. I had his number one, by the way. I had episode 100, which is one of my episodes. We had his number one spot for like the longest time. I finally got dethroned. I was really mad. But like, Paul and I are friends. Like, I email Paul all the time. I literally sent him a picture of me holding a copy of his book. And then I had ChatGPT turn me into a Lego. I'm sure it'll show up on LinkedIn at some point. But I was like, you should totally use this. This is amazing. Like, you know, this is what I do. I just send him stuff, and he sends me stuff. It's like, because I made a t-shirt.
And shipped
That's
it to
4
him.
seconds.
I should ask him if he still has that t-shirt.
I don't think he ever bought one, but that's because I don't think the website ships it internationally. But, you know, maybe. Who knows?
Okay.
Yeah, like,
So,
just go do something. Do something more.
yeah. You sound like the brand ambassador for Nike now.
Yeah. I'm like channeling my inner Brian Best on it. Yeah.
So what next for you?
A nap.
Not in the short term. Not like immediately.
What's next for me? Next for me is a little bit, honestly, it's a little bit of settling. We attempted a couple of things over the last couple of years. Some worked, some didn't. And the things that didn't took a little bit of a hit. So we're trying to just, you know, bounce back from that. We attempted to do a conference for nonprofits around technology. That didn't work. It didn't play right. It didn't work right. And like, okay, we took a shot, didn't work. It's fine. Learn some valuable lessons from it. So this year, 2024, or 2025. Oh my God, I don't know what year it is. It's already a quarter of the way through, and I'm like, oh yeah.
Yes.
The problem is, you know what it is? I don't write checks anymore, so I don't have to write the wrong date on a check like we used to do back in the years. But this year, we're really focusing on growth without expansion is the terms that I'm using internally with our team. What can we do to better our offerings, better our serviceability, better our client deliverables, things like that, without necessarily expanding the business? Meaning, like, I'm not looking to acquire anyone this year. Don't get me wrong, I will if something comes up and it works out, but like, that's not in my game plan. My game plan this year isn't to like create a new product as of just yet. My game plan for this year is to like really hone in and focus on the 2 pillars of our main business, which is consulting, and we have a service providership, and make them like super efficient, super have like an amazing excellent like experience for our customers, have the deliverability be like top notch. Like, I joke around about this a lot, but a lot of my friends have heard me say this. Like, I want to take all of my friends out of business. Like, I want to be the only Apple consultant that there is. The only way to do that really is to be not just this much better, but this much better than everyone else. Because, like, truthfully, and I say this a lot in our business, if you want to be better than the next MSP, this much is all you need to do. It's like not a whole lot. But like if you want to be great, if you want to be amazing, if you want to be the top dog, a lot more. So we're really honing in, focusing on that stuff. We've spent a good like 6 to 8 months working on our EBITDA, which I don't understand still, but my accountant does, which is all that matters.
Yeah.
We've been trying to build out our profits, and do things like that. On a personal note, I am trying to do more speaking. So you'll see me in engagements, a couple more engagements this year, both Mac and PC. So not just my conference, but other ones. And just trying to provide more to the whole MSP community. I have the All Things MSP podcast with Eric that comes out every week. I'm going to be speaking at, I want to make sure I get the name right because I always get this backwards. Because you know what the problem is? Everyone's in the channel. Channel Pro Network. I'll be speaking at Channel Pro Network twice this year. And I'm sure there'll be other things that'll come up over time. I'll probably be in Mac Admins again. Like I want to keep just giving back to the MSP community as a whole, because that's what like does it for me on like an emotional and like well-being scale. Like, yeah, I'll fix a computer every now and then. Like I said, I'll reset your Gmail password or whatever it is. But like doing that doesn't do it for me. But like things like this, being
Yeah.
live, maybe it's
You
just my ego.
enjoy this.
Yeah. I love doing this stuff. I love talking, mainly because I like hearing myself talk. If anyone's watching this, like I haven't shut up since this thing started. Like, you know, so yeah, that would be it. That would be like focus, honing in the business, sharpening the edge there, whilst also like building out my own personal brand, which I think is massively important for MSPs.
Yeah, true. So when you did mention a few things, right? Like one right now that you mentioned about the personal brand being an important part for the MSPs. You also spoke about, just going and doing what you want to do. But if you had to pick, say, three things as advice that you want to give to your fellow MSPs, what would those three things be?
What are the three things I want to give to my audience, you mean?
Yes, to the MSPs listening, just to your
I tell the MSPs. Okay. Oh, this is a tough one because I can only ever think of one thing at a time. Okay. Yeah, don't start a conference. No, I'm just kidding. Put yourself out there. I think the number one thing is if you really need, not want, need more customers, more clients, the reason you're not getting them is you're not putting yourself out there the right way. So look at what your competition's doing and mimic or do better. If you are on a list, if you're in some sort of search categorization that has a chance for reviews, get more reviews. Ask for those reviews. A lot of MSPs are introverted and we fear asking people for things, but you have to, I know it's hard, right? But like you have to break through that a little bit because you have to be able to ask for those reviews, whether they're on the Google, in your Google business locator. For Apple, we have the Apple Consultants locator. Like when I help other Apple consultants, they're like, how do I get more business? And I go look at their consultant locator profile and they have like one review and their nearest competition has 15 reviews. I was like, get 20 reviews, just be more, right? So like you have to get out there and you have to ask for that kind of stuff, especially if you need more customers. So that'd be one, get out there. My second thing is knowing more tech doesn't make you a better MSP, right? I know people who would rather go to a technical conference and learn every intimate detail about how to use some mobile device management software that maybe they'll never use because they want to learn all of that nuancy crap, but don't have anywhere to apply it to because they don't have the customer base to do it. So there is a striking balance between learning tech and learning business. But if you upset that cart and you're like, I'm all in on tech, you're gonna forget the other pieces of your business, and then you're no longer an entrepreneur or business owner. Now you just might as well get a job somewhere.
Yeah.
So like, do understand that there's more than just technical, right? As the MSP owner, it is very hard to know how to do marketing and how to do management and how to do finance and understand again what EBITDA is. But the those and we always call like, oh, I'm wearing all these different hats. You're not. You're
Yeah.
wearing a hat. You're wearing owner hat. Owner has to do all of these things, especially if you're like a 2, 3, 4 person business. If you're a 20 person business, you can probably break up those roles. But if you're a 2, 3 person business in middle America or whatever, like you have to know how to do those things. If you don't know how to do those things, go learn how to do those things because again, understanding how to write the world's best terminal command to look for a needle in a haystack is going to not help you. So that would be my second bit. My third piece of advice is um, get a coach. Get a business coach or a therapist, but preferably a coach. Get a business coach and get a business coach who doesn't know MSPs, doesn't know what IT stuff is. Because, and don't get me wrong, I happen to be a business coach, and if you want to hire me, sure, I'll be your business coach. But the reason I say to get a business coach that doesn't know the MSP stuff is when you're in the industry, it's very easy to skew your answers to be related to the industry, right? So I have people who come to me and ask me like business advice, and I'm like, here's what you can do from like within the industry. But when you have a business coach, and I'll give a name in a second, who's outside the industry, it brings a much different perspective on things because business is business, right? I've said this before, like the conference that I host, you can apply it to plumbers and doctors and magazine editors or whatever by just changing a few words because business is business, right? You have to understand the pillars of running a company. So if you have a business coach that's not in the industry, it does help because they will have that semi-unique perspective because like it's not the answer isn't like compliance or security. It's, doing this other thing. So my business coach, I'll give everybody, is Melanie Curtis. She's a speaker at our conference. You can check her out, melaniecurtis.com. World record skydiver, professional coach. She's amazing. And like the reason I love working with Melanie is I'll tell a quick anecdote. The last couple of weeks, things have been kind of rough. Like I had to go to California. I got sick. I came home. My wife had to go to Singapore for 2 weeks. I was home alone with the kids. And then as soon as my wife came home, I had to go to Florida for a couple of days for work. So like it was like a month of when your schedule is upset for a month, nothing works, right? Like I stopped working out and I wasn't eating as well and I couldn't get my work done and like whatever. And so I texted Mel and I was like, hey, I need you to light a fire under my ass. Mm. And she knows me well enough because I've been working with her for years. She knew exactly what to say. And I was like, got it. Boom. Here I am. Now I'm back on LinkedIn every day, posting some content, like all these things. Like you need someone in like that in your life, whether it's Melanie or not, doesn't matter. But like you need someone like that in your life. So that would be my third thing. Get a coach who can help you push through because there's going to be times where you do not know the answer. And maybe they do or they don't know the answer, but they can certainly help guide you to the answer, which is really, really important.
Got it. No, that's brilliant stuff. And my final question would be, why should MSPs read the MSP Bugle?
Because it's amazing. Come on. Where else are you going to find out about dummies like me? You should read the Bugle. You should read the Bugle because everybody really needs to be up to date with what's going on in the world, right? Like you want to know. Here's the truth. Here's the dead set truth. Okay. My entire story is written in this month's issue. Okay. If you know me, if you've heard me on any shows, if you've seen me here live, if you want to be better than me, which I 100% accept that challenge, you have to know me. If you don't know me, you can't be better than me. If you don't know what I'm doing, you don't know what games I'm playing, you don't know what stuff I'm building, what conferences I'm hosting, what books I'm writing, whatever, you're never going to be able to beat me. You have to know your competition inside and out to be able to beat them. So That would be part one. Part two is you also do need to continuously learn about the industry, what people's perspectives are. Maybe like we talked about George for a quick sec, right? Like he has a unique perspective because he only works with what, like dermatology offices, right?
Dermatologist,
Yeah.
yes. Yes.
Like that's a unique POV that like many MSPs would never even think of. Um every time this every time you have the ability to learn, um whether it's from a conference, whether it's from a magazine like the Bugle, anytime you have an ability to learn something, every chance you have, there's going to be a little nugget that you can take away and use in your business, or use to light a fire under your butt to grow your business, or learn to be like, oh, that's a really interesting take on how he's doing things because he's using X tool. And I never thought about using X tool for that because I only ever thought X tool does this. Like, you have to always be open, especially as someone who wants to grow. Like if you're a business owner who wants to grow, if you're an MSP who wants to grow, you have to be okay with learning and pulling out these little nuggets because every one of those things will push you forward. Right? Because here, we talked about Mark being in the magazine. Maybe a lot of you don't know who Mark is. Mark runs Wingman Marketing in England. Amazing company to work with. He's a genius. He's very articulate, very posh. Love him. You don't know who Mark is. You should. You should know who he is. Read the magazine. You find out who Mark is. And then you reach out to Mark and you say, hey, I saw the cover with Justin. He looks handsome. Saw you in there. You look better. And he'll be like, yeah, of course, because I look better than Justin. And then you'll start a rapport with him. And then, you know, the next time he writes the big book of MSP secrets, or what, I forget what his book is called, something like that, you know, volume 3, maybe you have a chance to be in there and you can build up your own brand. Like there's always reasons to be learning and listening. And especially, guys, the Bugle is free. Go download it. It's not like it's costing you $20, right?
Yeah.
Every chance you have to learn, go and learn something.
Brilliant. And on that note, thank you so much, Justin, for joining us and for sharing your story with us. That's
Of course.
extremely valuable. And best of luck to you. Best of luck for the conference that's coming up.
Thank
And
you
I
very much.
hope and I hope it doesn't this time you will be like, I'm going to do this again.
Real quick, I'm already in that phase of like, why am I doing this? I hate
Why am I
everything.
doing this?
And like, as soon as the conference is over, I'll be like, we're doing it again.
All right. So best of luck for that. And I really look forward to the next phase of your journey.
Thank you very much. Much appreciated.
Thank you. Bye
Bye-bye.
bye. Thanks everyone for joining. Bye.